Human built a limb for an alien child. Later that day, the Queen paid the workshop hummed with the familiar buzz of plasma cutters and the sharp scent of cooling metal. Burak wiped sweat from his brow, his calloused hands adjusting the delicate servo motors within the prosthetic framework. Across the cluttered workbench, Elsa studied the holographic blueprints, her green eyes tracing every joint and connection point with meticulous precision. "The articulation needs to be smoother," she muttered, zooming in on the wrist mechanism. "Xerixian physiology has 3 rotating points where we only have 2. If we don't account for that, the kid won't be able to hold things properly." Burak nodded, reaching for a micro-welder. "Already on it. I'm adding an extra gyroscopic stabilizer. Should give it the full range of motion." They had been at this for 6 hours straight ever since the small Xerixian child had stumbled into their repair shop on the edge of the colony district. The child, no more than 8 in human years, had lost her lower arm in an industrial accident. Her caretaker, an elderly Xerixian with fading scales and trembling limbs, had begged for help. The colony's official medical center had quoted a price that would bankrupt most families for 3 generations. Elsa and Burak hadn't hesitated. They had simply gotten to work. The Xerixians were a proud species, insectoid in appearance with chitinous exoskeletons that shimmered in shades of deep purple and blue. Their compound eyes saw in spectrums humans couldn't imagine, and their triple-jointed limbs moved with an alien grace. But pride and grace meant nothing when a child was in pain. "Pass me the neural interface," Elsa said, extending her hand without looking up. Burak placed the delicate component in her palm. "You sure about direct neural connection? That's pretty advanced for a rush job. She deserves better than a clunky mechanical claw," Elsa replied, her voice firm. "If we're doing this, we're doing it right." Hours blurred together. The colony's twin suns began their descent beyond the dome shields, casting long shadows across the workshop. Finally, as the last connection clicked into place, Elsa stepped back. Before them lay a masterpiece of human engineering, a prosthetic limb that gleamed with polished alloy, embedded with microsensors and powered by a compact fusion cell that would last decades. "Beautiful work," Burak said quietly. Elsa allowed herself a small smile. "Let's hope it works." The Xerixian child returned with her caretaker just as the third moon rose. The little one's name was Crixisha, and her large compound eyes widened as Elsa knelt down, holding the prosthetic limb gently. "This might feel strange at first," Elsa said softly, "but I promise it'll become part of you." The attachment process took 20 minutes. Burak monitored the neural feedback while Elsa carefully aligned the interface nodes with Crixisha's nervous system. The child chirped nervously, a sound like wind chimes, but remained still. Then with a soft click and a brief flash of blue light, the prosthetic synchronized. Crixisha's eyes widened. Her new limb twitched, then moved. The 3-jointed fingers flexed, rotated, reached out. She touched her caretaker's face with wonder, feeling the texture of aged scales as if nothing had changed. Tears, viscous and crystalline, leaked from the old Xerixian's eyes. "How much?" the caretaker asked, their translator device crackling with emotion. "How much do we owe?" Elsa shook her head. "Nothing, just take care of her." Burak nodded in agreement. "And maybe tell her to come back in a few years for adjustments as she grows." The caretaker stared at them, mandibles quivering in disbelief. In Xerixian culture, such generosity demanded a life debt. But before they could protest further, Elsa gently ushered them toward the door. "Go on. She needs rest, and so do we." As the workshop door hissed shut, Burak collapsed into a chair. "Well, there goes our rent money for the month." Elsa laughed, exhausted. Worth it. Neither of them expected what came next. 3 hours later, as Elsa and Burak were closing up shop, the entire street outside suddenly flooded with light. Hover vehicles emblazoned with the royal crest of the Xerixian matriarchy descended, their engines humming with barely contained power. Colonists scattered, pressing themselves against walls and storefronts. From the largest vehicle emerged Queen Vexathala herself, a towering figure nearly 8 feet tall, her exoskeleton adorned with precious metals and ancient ceremonial scarring. Her compound eyes, each facet like a tiny mirror, fixed upon the humble repair shop. Elsa and Burak froze. The Queen's mandibles clicked in a pattern that their translators rendered as formal speech. "I am told that 2 humans gave my grandniece a gift beyond price. A gift given freely with no expectation of reward." Elsa found her voice first. Your Majesty, we didn't know she was— You did not need to know, the Queen interrupted, her voice resonating with authority. You saw a child in need. You acted. This is the measure of true civilization. She gestured, and her attendants brought forward a chest carved from crystallized amber. The matriarchy does not forget such deeds. You have shown us that humanity's strength lies not in your weapons or your ships, but in your unreasonable compassion for those not your own kind. Burak stepped forward cautiously. Your Majesty, we appreciate the gesture, but we didn't do it for payment. Queen Vexithala's mandibles spread in what might have been a smile. I know. That is precisely why you will be paid. Within this chest are trade contracts, mining rights, and a seat on the Colonial Development Council. You will want for nothing. More importantly, you have earned something far more valuable: the friendship of the Zrixian matriarchy. She stepped closer, lowering her massive head until her compound eyes were level with theirs. Your species is young and often reckless. But today you reminded us why we welcomed humans to our worlds. You build not just machines and cities, but bridges between souls. As quickly as they had arrived, the royal procession departed, leaving Elsa and Burak standing in the street, staring at the amber chest. Did that just happen? Burak whispered. Elsa laughed, a sound mixed with disbelief and joy. I think we just made history. Inside the workshop, on the workbench still cluttered with tools and blueprints, a small note had been left by one of the Queen's attendants. In careful human script, it read, "Humanity builds more than limbs. You build hope. Thank you." And beneath the words, a child's drawing, Crixisha's three-fingered hand holding what could only be a human hand, surrounded by stars. The end.